the 2018 elections is concerned, at some point in time I was actually saying, because if you remember his reports yesterday, most of them were about skirmishes and you know, people not seeing eye to eye. But sithi kumbe yini la enhla naho bantu bakona banjani
khona ukuthi ngithathele phela John vele emehle ufuna vele abone yonke into indlebe tihlale tiyalela yonke into nathi khasha ngala avela sonzele ngakhona abone ukuthi kwendekani.
Yeah, of course we are going to during this broadcast bring you an update on what's going on in Sipofaneni. You'll remember Sipofaneni is one of those constituencies we are all looking at, considering some of the things that have happened. If you weren't watching this morning or that information hasn't yet gotten to you, let's just give you a summary of what has happened so far. And as far as Sipofaneni constituency is concerned, we woke up this morning with reports to the effect that counting there had been halted in the middle of the night. This due to the fact that there were disagreements between the factions that were contesting the position of Member of Parliament. You remember what happened is on Tuesday last week, there were special elections that were held at the Mavuso Trade and Exhibition Centre for armed forces as well as other individuals, civil servants who would not be working or who would not be available on Friday to cast their vote. Now what happened is apparently the ballot box of votes that had been collected during the special voting process then emerged just when the accounting process had begun, which is something that led people to then start questioning where this box had come from. And because of that, and people didn't understand really, and it just surfacing at that moment when the counting had already started, got people to start thinking that something suspicious was happening, which then resulted in there being skirmishes and disagreements, and counting then started at around 11 this morning. We have our journalist Siphiwo Dlamini who is going to be talking to us about that.
Oyesembonisa ukhumbula ukuthi Siphiwo Dlamini ngithathele yetfule lapha enkundleni yasasiPhofaneni, kodwa kumlosa ngaphambilini beyisenkundleni yasasithobeleni lapho khona izivedele ukuthi Velitshe Dlamini senguye lohambe embili esigabeni sokuba lilunga leParliament kwekuthi lo wini lohambe embili esigabeni sokuba imvuna yenkundla kube nguye Joel Mamba. Anzinyana sovele sobuyele esiPhofaneni kodwa siniketa i-updates kokuva ukuthi ingabe kubala khona kuchubeka kanjani ngalokuthi kuphutile kucala asekuvusele Siphiwo sikumukele ehlelweni kuhamba njani esiPhofaneni ingabe kubala sekuvele sekufika emaphethelweni noma solo kusabalwa.
Ngicela nona senza sesibele vele esiPhofaneni kepha indlela vele iseseyize kwanyalo njengoba sathi ukuthi lana kunambi tuzozimelana lwatewa ngamagawugawu kanye nakundwane Gamede tinzunzuma dabo kwanyalo solo nje nasibuka ngemehlo ethu eziyalingana size baze bathi labakhona la ngekhathi ungakhetha lo mthanzako ngoba siyalingana tinzunzuma. So basafaka lamagama njalo kusafaka lamagama lokuye kwendeka ke mhlambe nasesithombeni lesitholile lokuthi ukwenza ukuthi batawumemeta ukuthi official vote gazela azabe yi30 emagama size futhi uqale futhi azabe yi30 newagundwane Gamede lokwenda ukuthi kube likhuni ukuthi ubone ukuthi ngabe mbambamba vele itawutala ngomoni namuhla. Kepha nje nesibuka kwethu ungathi usifake singisho ehafini yekubala lawo mavoti lawo sive solo simile egedeni in anticipation impela vele nje solo tibambene kahle. Kepha ke sesitholile ukuthi kama lamambili lengcile seyitholakele indina yenkundla yasePhofaneni lokungunhlanhla simelane lohambe embili nga-3,366 wamavoti kwalandela zakhele Dlamini nga-2,328 bebasikhombisa lesi babonke kwekugcina bekana 226 ngomzamo Ndwandwe.
Uyasithathelela Siphiwo kubuta nje ukuthi Siphiwo ngabe sesifike esigabeni lapho khona kumbe sive sesicala lokuthi siconze lokuthi kahle yini le yendekako ngoba utawukhumbula ukuthi na usibikela ekseni usichazele ethi indzaba lebe yinkulu bekungileya le ballot box lebese seyachamuka ema special vote le kumbe icala echamuka sekucalile kubala bantu babese sebacala kubande mihihi bangasathi ukuthi kwente kanjani ngabe sebachazeleke kahle yini lokuthi kuyini lokhu ukuthi bayakumukela yini lokusesichubeka siyembili singathi noma sesihambe umgamo ukhanze ukuthi kusekhona abantu abatabese sebayasuma bathi cha mina solo angifuna kuva naye yanalibhokisi leli bese selingena nje esidikidikini.
nasibakhulumisa nekubuka simo babukeka abachazelekile bona labantu sekuthi nje bavimbene emaphoyisa le egedeni lapho ungena khona lapha esikolweni balapho bagase yonke imoto engenayo bayibuka ngemehlo lamanye bayihlole nokuthi kude ibhokisi selikhona leseliphinde selibona babuka ukuthi besaba ukuthi kaphinde kunyenyiswe ibhokisi side lelitawuqhamuka nemavoti bagadile-ke egedeni baze banimemede nje naningena ukuthi kude yini sinakuphazamisa amavoti ethu ngisho lethu nje imoto nanayo iyahohodwa lasegedeni babinzise-ke amaphoyisa bese sesiyakhona-ke ukuthi mhlawumbe sichubeke singene kepha la ngekhathi eholeni la kubalwa khona bonke abantu bahlezi phasi kuyaziwana nje impela solo kubukiwe impela kusonzela ngoba kugcine sekubalwa kanye kanye kwadivayidwa leli hola kwagcwezela lezina inkundla ngale eceleni nababuka ukuthi vele sesawugcweze busuku kakhulu kwathi-ke kuphela lana bese kuqaliwe-ke lokuhlungwa ngala nyalo kusabitwa namagama kutawusekugcineni-ke ngikhani-ke setawuqala lokubala imvundluma ngayinye labakhethwa
ya ukubuta nje enkosi kokuthi ingabe kude ngivele mhlambe imibiko lenivile ukuthi kunebantu mhlambe labakhankasa ngansense khona lapha esiphofaneni
cha imibiko bekuseke lesiyitholile lesikubonile nje la khona lebe balapha egedeni lebe banenkinga naleki imoto lesolo ingakasuswa lenibhalo kanti kuthi phela itolo mase sesina sekuphelile lokuvota kufuna bese-ke bantu sebayayekela bese bayasusa mhlawumbe imoto letibhaliwe bekukhona-ke izimbabwe ekusenzele uma sifika labanye bebaze bababike kwabona labantu bathi susa lamaphepha emotini ngoba uyathi ukuthi usithe manje sale uyekela lokuchubeka nalokukhankasa ngoba bakuthatha ngekuthi nakachubeka flagela amaphepha vele solo uyakhankasa kanti phela sevele sekuvaliwe kwakona lokuvota nato nje ikhalo lesincane lebesizokhala ngaso bakhombana babitana bathi kwaba yinto lencane kwachubeka konke kahle
njengoba Siphiwo sibona ukuthi kubala lapho kulendzawo yasesifofaneni info letawuthatha kumbe isikhathi lesithe kakhudlwana engabe sive sona solo kusihleli ngebuningi baso kubona imiphumela noma kumbe labanye sebaqalile bayahlunguka baya ngasemakhaya kumbe kuyawutfola lokuya ngasethunjini sifuna nje sinikete isithombe sekuthi le anticipation inganani kibo labantu ikakhulu kade ngoba vele ingazuthi ijubana ekhathi njengoba uyibeka nje
nyalo nje lethe bakhona lebangathi banyendana ulensha lensha yesolo ayikayipheli imandla imoto etipakiwe ngoba lapha opposite police station letinye tifake ngekhasi nalapha ngakafaya solo vele tipakile impela bahletila ngaphandle labanye-ke babiye nematshalo sibakhanze vele ekuseni banemacasi nematshalo kuhleti khona lapha kuphekiwe kunekudla lokuthengiswako labo make labathengiswako nje solo bahleti impela insha solo iyayingayinga nasedolobheni ne-anticipation solo isetulu lapho ngoba labanyenti basetingcingweni bathi bagade kuva nje ukuthi kuhamba kahle bese bagijima babiya ngalana sicabanga ukuthi siqala sibone inombolo tikhula nasesebathi lokuthi nyalo sekubalwa letindvundvumu ngalokuthi nyalo kusabitwa lamagama kuphela lokuhlukaniswa kule bakhethwa labayi-7 nasekuqala-ke sekubalwa letindvundvumu ngicabanga ukuthi batawuqala-ke kushayelana sive sase siba sinyenti kakhulu lapha egedeni kepha nyalo nje sisehle kancane kepha lensha solo ilapha solo ihleki labanye ekhathi emotini labanye ngaphandle yize simo selitulu sesibanza kepha nje solo impela bakhona
Okay cha sibonga kakhulu umlangeni siba kuwe inkosi ngawo umbiko lesiningete wona bekunguSiphiwo Dlamini lo sibikela lapha esiphofaneni ngalokwenteka khona inithathele yethu sibusiswa ngubane ethi indvo sedima ngemumo lapha endasi ezulwini ye-convention center lapho tinhloli ikakhulu kati le tota ka EU sethi tasiningeta umbiko ngekuthi dona tibone kuhamba kanjani nasikhulumisa likhetho leminyaka wa 2018 sathatha intambo sibhekise ngakhona.
Good afternoon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this press conference to release the preliminary findings of the African Union Election Observation Mission to the Kingdom of Eswatini's 2018 general elections. At the outset, let me express our profound appreciation to the government and the Kingdom of Eswatini for inviting the African Union to observe the 2018 general elections. I wish also to express our appreciation to the various stakeholders who met with the mission's leadership and observers, which helped us to deepen our understanding of the pre-electoral environment and general administration of the 2018 elections. This preliminary statement is issued based on the mission's consultations and observation of the voting process and is issued before the entire election process has been completed. For this reason, it focuses mainly on the pre-electoral and electoral day observations and findings. Our assessment of the electoral process in its entirety will be contained in our final report, which would be released approximately 2 months after the end of the election process. The final report will examine in detail the extent to which the 2018 elections were conducted in accordance with the AU Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance, and other international standards for democratic elections, as well as the legal framework of Eswatini. More importantly, it would also provide concrete and constructive recommendations for the authorities of Eswatini on how the process might be improved or bring more closely in line with the AU principles for democratic elections. At this juncture, I wish to state that our preliminary statement is a summary of our key findings and conclusions on the political context, legal framework, election administration, campaign, and media environment, as well as the election day voting and counting process. Here are the key findings. The political context. As was in the past elections, the 2018 elections took place within an environment that does not officially recognize the formation and operation of political parties in Eswatini. The elections were conducted in line with Section 79 of the 2005 Constitution, which emphasizes individual merit as the basis for election or appointment to public office. The legal framework. In general, the legal framework provides for the preservation of key rights and freedoms, including freedom of association and assembly. Despite this, the AU-EOM notes that the Constitution does not address the formation or role of political parties in the election process. The AU-EOM further notes that despite the constitutional and legal reforms undertaken in 2013, the 1973 decree banning political parties remains in force. In preparation for the 2018 general elections, the EBC undertook a number of activities, including boundary delimitation, voter registration, voter education, training of electoral officials, procurement and distribution of election materials. The mission notes that the EBC carried out these activities according to the publicized electoral calendar in line with international best practice and was well prepared for the elections. However, the Commission did cite budgetary constraints in the run-up to the elections, although these did not have any significant impact on the smooth running of the polls. A new voter registration exercise was carried out between May and June 2018. In preparation for the elections, the mission received reports that the process recorded a high voter turnout. Now the campaign itself. Canvassing for votes during primary elections is prohibited. Campaigning was only authorized for the secondary elections, starting on 19 August and ending on 20th September. During this period, a candidate may publish any campaign material, but this has to be approved by the EBC. It was reported that campaigning for the 2018 elections was mostly done on a one-to-one basis, as opposed to utilizing the print media and mass rallies. Few campaign posters were also observed. The AUEOM notes that the prohibition of campaigning during primary elections does not allow for thorough scrutiny and potential candidates to be elected to Parliament. The media environment. The media's role in the election is regulated by a code of conduct developed by the EBC. The mission notes that there is a lack of media pluralism. The participation of women and the marginalized groups. The legal framework of Eswatini's provides for an increase in women representation in Parliament. The Constitution of Swaziland in Articles 84.2 and 86.1 requires quotas for women and marginalized groups be observed in the composition of the House of Parliament. The mission notes that despite these commitments, women remain underrepresented in Parliament. The number of women contesting for parliamentary and local government seats in this election remains low, thus negatively impacting on the representation of women in Parliament. Election Observation Day. The AUEOM observed the opening in 11 polling stations, voting in 155 polling stations, and closing and counting in 7 centers. Based on its observation of the voting process, the mission notes that the voting process took place in a generally peaceful and orderly environment. Most of the polling stations visited by the AU observers opened on time and had sufficient materials to conduct the process. There were adequate polling staff, in the majority being women. Observers noted that the staff performed their duties professionally and generally adhered to voting procedures. Most polling stations were accessible to the elderly and people with disabilities, who were also given preferential treatment. Candidate agents and citizen observers were present in some polling stations and were allowed to perform their duties without restriction or interference. No campaign materials or activities were observed in all polling stations visited, except in 2 cases where campaigning was observed. Security personnel were visibly present in all polling stations visited, but their presence was professional and non-intrusive. Long queues were observed in some polling stations visited, particularly in the rural areas. Observers also noted the long distances between polling stations in the rural areas. The secrecy of the vote is generally guaranteed. The closing process of polling stations was done in accordance with EBC procedures, though it was time-consuming. Ballot boxes were transported to a central counting location. Generally, the voting process was administered well, except for the challenges encountered with the counting process. Now, the recommendations of the AUEM. Based on its observations and consultations, the mission encourages the Eswatini authorities to consider reviewing the 1973 decree on the ban of political parties and allow them to freely participate in the electoral process in accordance with the provisions of the African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance. Urges electoral stakeholders to consider reviewing the electoral system to enhance inclusivity and foster participation and of marginalized groups such as the youth, women, and people with disabilities. Urges the government of Eswatini to ensure that the Electoral and Boundaries Commission is adequately resourced to carry out its mandate effectively and efficiently. While applauding relevant electoral stakeholders for ensuring that a large number of women participate in the electoral process as polling staff and voters, it encourages them to promote women's participation in gender equality and elected offices. Urges the EBC to consider reviewing the closing and counting procedures to protect the security of the ballot and enhance efficiency, transparency, and integrity of the process. Applauds the EBC for providing transportation for voters to polling stations. However, the Commission is encouraged to consider increasing the number of polling stations, especially in rural areas where the distances between the stations are too long. Encourages candidate agents and citizen observers to enhance their participation throughout all the stages of the electoral process. To conclude, the 2018 general elections in the Kingdom of Eswatini were conducted in a peaceful environment. The EBC administered the election in a professional manner despite the challenges observed by the mission, especially during closing and counting stages of the electoral process. Finally, on behalf of the AUEOM, I applaud the Kingdom of Eswatini for signing the African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance. I thank you.
I would like to thank His Excellency for that.
Okay, ngibukele ngiyathemba ngathi noma sidagcina sikhoneleni khenze sibuyele lapha endasi njengoba ngaseselithuba ukuthi kuthathwe imibuto ngidodini zatheli kepha ke sovele ukhulumile lo hola lona libandla letinhlolo letichamuka kuyo inhlangano yeAfrican Union EAU kwakuthi bona lukhetho balibona lihamba njani eveni la kaNgwane ngiloyo beka ngimengameli welive leSeychelles uJames Alex Michel.
Yes, ukhulumile lapha mbukele kakhulu kade uncuma lona libandla lelukhetho nemincene ukuthi labakubonile bona basabuka noma mhlambe basahlola ukuthi bafika kuma polling stations babona ukuthi disebenti ta EBC bete professional ekakhulu kade kuzo sive besto vota konke boku professional abaphinzi balibonga libandla lokuthi lilungise iTransport ekakhulu kade ukuthatha sona sive sisithathe khona emphakathini sisimikise khona endaweni lapho kuvota khona uthi lonke luhlelo luhambe ekahle kakhulu naloku ngetile ukuthi emani EBC ukuthi next time kunelkhetho lizame kungeta ema polling stations ngoba lokonyela abakubonile kakhulu kade emakhaya miningi limiphakathi okhanze ukuthi ema lines sekaba mathe waxwayisa sona EBC ukuthi izame kungeta wona ema polling stations kuningi la kuvedile lapha aphinzi wabona nama security forces amaphoyisa tekphepha ukuthi bebasebenza ngeprofessionalism bekuprofessional konke ekhona lapho yakuningi la kuvedile lapho wabona nokuthi campaign posters bakubonile kukhankasa ukuthi kuhambe ngemumo nako mhlambe kude lapho labe bakhankasa kiwo ama polling stations except for 2 places silapho ba notice khona ukuthi kungathi kukhona labakhankasa ngasese.
Yebo ke kuyo yona lenza bayikhankasa uyasho ukuthi kungavumeleki banqonywa ukuthi bakhankase ngesikhathi sebanqonyiwe kusukela kuma primary elections yinvo leva kwangazuthi iAU ayibaniketi banqonywa isikhathi sekuthi bakhone kuchaza kahle ukuthi babobani bamelela ini neyokuthi bantu batawube sesebaba nemicondvo locacako kwekuthi bamkhethelani loyo muntu. Uyayikhuluma ke nenza bayekuthi live la kangwane linayo imithetho lebekiwe leyenda kwekuthi lukhetho lube ngilelo loliniketa wonke umuntu lithuba lekuthi akhone kukhankasa kungakhathaliseki ukuthi ucabanga ngayiphi indlela noma uaffiliate kuyiphi indlela yecabanga. Kepha ke washo ukuthi nakuba beyikhona itaba letendiwe kakhulu kade tekuriphela umthetho wa 1973 decree le beyingavumeli ukuthi bantu bakhankase bangemaphathi kunaloko umuntu akhankase ngaye nje yedvana ukuthi ke bayi AU bayadumala ke kubona lokho ukuthi ingazuthi emaphathi soloko akavumeleki ngalokuphelele kwekuthi nawo abe nenzima la idlalako ekuthenini alungenele lukhetho indvokela luka live ukuthi nebakithi ingazuthi kungabukwa kuqiniswe ngoba lemithetho seyivele ikhona lelethi nemaphathi angavumeleka kepha ke la ngakufoli kahle ngilokuthi naku akawaboni aba nelithuba lokuthi nawo alingenele likhetho lenye into la ivedile ukuthi lena kuthi nje ayishwamba kanye lo umbiko wabo lasho ukuthi utawuvela ngalokuphelele emva kwetinyanga letimbili sewuphelile umsebenzi welikhetho.
Awuphinza wayencoma lapha iEBC libandla lekhefu nemincele ukuthi bebalungele kuwenda umsebenzi wekhefu ngalokuthi bebabamba ema trainings bacecesha dona disebenzi deEBC bacecesha tintatheli bacecesha nabo labo labasebenzela uhulumende batowada ukuthi ukhetho lusebenta kanjani baphinza bacecesha naso sive kubadisa nje ukuthi ukhetho umbulo kanjani ulithunisile ke libandla washona ukuthi ngathi kube netinkinga letincane ngebishoda imali kodwa uthithe akukabangi itinkinga letinkulu lokho umsebenzi uqhubeke kahle as far as they are concerned. Udumise kakhulu save ukuthi compared ukuthi
kuncane lo haya kuncane kakhulu kahle nababuka njengoba basho bathi lokhetho ngekubuka kwabo luhambe ngendlela lethulile futhi lendeke enzaweni levumelako sho ukuthi within a conducive environment. Ingoleni ayithinzile lencomani nemlingani wabe uthi kuyithi fahla kancane ngile ukuthi nakube emaphoyisa bawabonile kitotonke letinzawo kubonakele lokuthi altele kutawuqiniseka kuphepha kwesive futhi aqinisekisa nekuthula kepha babonile futhi ukuthi lawo maphoyisa lebe kakhona bayangaketi kumbe kutawucinzetela labanye noma kuintimidate labanye bebakhona kutakwenda umsebenzi wabo uzowasebenzisa igama lekuthi they handled themselves professionally ukuthi batigcine basebenda ngendlela lengiyo kude kumbe bantu labese sebeva ngathi bayathikameteka ngekuba khona kwawo lawo maphoyisa. Sithombe sihle asiso lesibi kakhulu dikhonyana tinto kumbe lesingathi dona tifuna ukukhulunyiswa ngalendlela abayibeka ngayo.
Uvedile nje lena ukuthi bomake evele awonwaba ka representeki kahle elikhethweni ngalokuthi bekude vele bomake ukhanze ukuthi bebaphuma ku ama primary elections but laba kubonile kona bonanya lokho ukuthi vele bomake bebangakamelelwa kahle elikhethweni wathi sizame ukuthi next time lasibamba wona umsebenzi welikhetho lolukhulu sizame ukuthi bomake sibancome sebavotele ngiloko nje laba kubonile ebona bathi inhloli daka AU African Union.
Mbukeli ke sidawuthi kuthatha likhefu ngiyabona kulesikhathi samanje kona vele bese kusikhathi sekuthi sigocode njengoba bekufanele siqale nakushaya insimbi yesithathu kuthi nakushaya insimbi yesine bese sesiyagocoda angeke sisalithatha lelo khefu kepha ke kunaloko sitavele sigocode kukukhumbuta nje mbukeli ukuthi sitakushamba kanye cishe kongana nakushaya insimbi yesikhombisa etindzabeni tethu namuhla nzambama leto ke titabe tingumthamo impela titabe titiningi njengoba nayitolo ubonile laqala ngesimbi yesikhombisa kuyaze kuyalamla kona kushaya kwensimbi noma kugabanqa kwensimbi yesiphohlo.
It's 5 minutes after 4 mbukeli saphenze sibuye ngayo ensimbi yesikhombisa nisale kahle. Give another 26